just a quickie before we start the proper video, which is in a moment. I went to edit it. I realised I can't count. I've got in there, there's 2 wands, there's 2 pentacles, there's a major arcana and a cup. Well, that's 6 cards, isn't it? There is actually only 5 cards. Don't know where I got the idea there was 2 wands from it, but there we are. That's the way it is. So I thought, instead of starting the whole video over again, because when I do record my readings, I do it in one hit. If you look carefully, you'll never see any like breaks or anything like that, where, you know, you see a lot of videos, people stop halfway and they go, oh, I didn't think I did that right. And so they cut it and then add something in. I just do it in one hit. So that's why it's a lot of me going, what's all that? What's that special word? Because I do it in one hit. So I didn't want to redo it or do anything like that. So hence this a little bit of an apology before anybody picks it up. Barbara, you can't count. I know. Anyway, let's get on with the video. See you in a second. Bye. Hello my lovelies, Barbara here with another tarot reading for the week ahead. It's Monday the 1st of June 2026. Isn't this year going fast? But June is bursting out all over, so we don't mind. Anyway, I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I was teaching tarot again on Saturday. A lady actually who came to me a little while ago for psychic development, which of course has helped her with the tarot. And she's also booked in for the mediumship. So she's obviously a glutton for punishment coming back to me. But we had such a laugh, so it was great fun. Anyway, let's get on with your reading. So we've got Tarot de la Nuit. I don't know if that's the front of the box or that is the front of the box. I think that might be actually, not 100% sure. It's a really nice deck. The colours are quite dark. And again, I always do this, not as in dark, but as in dark. Hence the reason of the title of the night. But there we are. So it's a bit of a shiny, there we are, it's the light on it, a bit of a shiny deck. So you don't know how well you're going to be able to see these pictures. 5 cards as usual. Now we've got 2 pentacles, 2 wands, a major and a cup. And I do feel this week, even though the lead card is a wand, that this is all about security this week and movement, whatever direction you want to go in. And remember, security doesn't necessarily mean money. It can do, but it could be your home, your family, how you feel about yourself, all these sorts of things. So the lead card is the wand. So we have the 2 of Wands. So there's this lady here. Not quite sure what this is. It looks like, I don't know. I don't even know what that looks like actually. But she's actually within a cave. And around here, I'm trying to get the light off that. You can't really see it. Hopefully you'll see it at the end. It's roots. So obviously the roots have gone into the cave and they're sort of protecting her, but they're actually stopping her as well moving on. Now, if you think about a traditional sort of Rider-Waite deck, the 2 of Wands, the guy standing within the walls of his castle, looking out, he has the world in his hands, and he can see where he could possibly go, what he could move on to, all these things, but he's very stationary, he's very stuck within the walls of his castle. Now within here, I don't know if you can see these little reddy blobs, it's actually these roots are catching fire, that energy. And she's looking at the skull, so she's utilising the skull to actually think forward. Where can I go? What can I do? How can I improve? And I'm going to say the financial or security aspects of my life. And if you look at the skull here, do you see this almost like flames? Bearing in mind it's one, so it's a fire card, like shooting out these ideas and guiding her, and she's looking at it in wonder. This week, certainly the beginning of this week, is very much a sort of point where you can, I'd say, realise your dreams. That's the one way of putting it. You can actually think clearly almost of like, this is the things that I would like to do. Where can I take them? But also that little bit of fear. I'm all right as I am. Oh, that's quite a bit dodgy. Perhaps, am I used to doing things like that? Do you think I could do it? It's a bit of a lack of confidence going on here. She's sort of being enthusiastic in her mind about this with that skull there and the flames and the ideas and all this sort of thing. Though it's a wand, it's about that energy. And we all get it, don't we? Oh, yeah, I'm going to redecorate the bedroom. Yeah, I must redecorate that bedroom. Oh, but what if I get the colour scheme wrong? What if I buy the wrong paint? What if I make a mess of it? And it's a little bit like that this week, this beginning. Have some faith in what you want to do this week. And remember, this is the security aspect of your life. So it could be all sorts of things that you're referring to. And yes, it could be monetary. It doesn't matter. Think where you want to be. But more importantly, how can you do it? How can you actually gain that? And I think this sort of leads on a little bit from last week, because then that's where things start getting better. Once you get those plans in your head and you can start moving on, you get to the Three of Pentacles. Now, I love this. She's looking a bit like she's actually, that's very, I don't know if you can see it in the picture. She's sort of it is a hand, yeah. From a hand, it's almost like a goblet almost. That's full of energy. Now, remember she was in a cave in that first card. Now she's actually within a physical building that she has built. So these ideas that you can come up with at the beginning and this movement that you want to make towards your security aspect of your life, you are able to build on that, have that confidence to do so. Now, threes are very much a foundation and like the roots going down. And again, if you go back to a Rider-Waite deck, the guy there, he's building the cathedral and he's got two people with plans guiding him onwards, but he is becoming an expert at what he does. And that's what she's managed to create, this feeling of security, this solid building around her. But there's more that she can do. Now, she's at least showing she's thinking very, very carefully about this. Okay, what's my next step? What should I do next? And that's where your major comes in. Now, remember there's 5 cards, so it's right in the middle here. Now, do you remember, where are we? I said about this sort of almost looks like a goblet. Look what she's got, but more importantly, look at the energy that she's filling this almost spiritual lake with. Now, the star is very much about balance. It's about hope, where you can build on almost within your life to make you feel good. So remember, again, back to the security aspect, it doesn't have to be financial, and it's what makes you feel balanced. We've even got, when you look at the star up there, remember stars, you can navigate by the stars. Done it for millennia after millennia. People have been guided by stars. They navigate. It makes sure they don't get lost. She has been already guided, and partly from that 3, but from the beginning, that 2 of, flames, 2 of wands got it out there eventually. She's got the 7 stars surrounding that. Now you think about that's a compass when it comes down to it. But the 7 stars are your chakras. And finding balance is so important this week. And that's why it's important not to rush ahead. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit scared, a little bit, oh, should I do it? Don't let it stop you completely, but do it gently. Don't jump in with both feet. Because if you do, you're like, in this case, you're going to be a bit overwhelmed. But if you can look very carefully, I don't know if you can see, she has wings. She can fly. So this week, if we're careful what we do, we will be able to fly. Now, she's quite young. The character is quite young. The wings look almost like newly formed. So yes, you can fly, but don't fly too far, all right? Just take not a step back, but just take it gently as you move on. And the reason being, you get the 7 of Cups. Now, I will say it's a bit strange, this deck, because I have absolutely no idea. There's these funny blobby things. I even looked in the little book that came with it. Doesn't mention what these blobby things are supposed to be. I mean, that one's obviously on fire. Back to that wand right at the beginning. But it's a confusion card. So there may be different things that sort of come up in the process. Remember, if you're keeping this under control and that energy under control, it shouldn't be too bad. And you might have to take a little bit step back, which is back to that star, really, that sort of stepping back. Get everything in balance, sort out your chakras, keep balanced about things. Don't worry, even if you make the wrong mistake. So you've decided to go this path and suddenly think, well, do you know what? That looks quite interesting. The flame will still burn. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't quite go to plan. But in other words, keep your spirits up. The whole point of that star is set back to balance, hope, keeping the spirit alive, the spiritual aspect of that water that she's pouring that energy cup into. Because then, yeah, oh, just checking. I just realised there's 2 at the beginning and there's a 2 at the end. Here we have the 2 of Pentacles. Now, I love the way that she's been portrayed as Cinderella. So, again, back to balance, about keeping your feet grounded almost. Now, what's interesting, she's got it's a watch here, and a watch with 2 pocket watches here. Think about the story of Cinderella. So she gets done up, all dolled up by her fairy godmother. She then goes to the ball, but she's got to finish by midnight because it will all go back to rags again. So she's hurrying on because she doesn't want it all to go away. Yes, it might, but it doesn't matter, because if you think about the happy ending of Cinderella, so yes, she goes back to rags, and then her prince finds her. Now, the prince doesn't have to be a metaphorical prince, doesn't have to be a relationship. It's that figurehead almost, that moment where you are drawn out of the rags almost and become who you really are truly meant to be. And it's that feeling of security, of finding who you are, but also that direction of, yes, I feel safe, I feel secure, I know which direction I'm going to go in my security aspect, whether that is money, so whether it's family or friends or whatever, or it's just that security of yourself. Bearing in mind, you had those 7 stars which represent your chakras, so that feeling of balance and, yeah, being rooted, being really strong in what you feel and what you do. But you need to take it gently. Sometimes things happen to us, don't they? And it's a bit like going to a big theatre where they have all that music, a seminar. There we are. Oh, I got to remember those from the 90s. You go in, there's that music blaring, and you come out like, yeah, I can do that. I can sell all that stuff. I can do this. And after about a day, you think, yeah, perhaps not. What on earth was all that about, sort of thing. So don't let passion overrule sense. That's a pentacle. You had that 3 of Pentacles. There's nothing wrong with passion, but sometimes you need to keep your feet on the ground and take it gently. Nobody's going to look down on you for doing that. Just think about how you want to go forward, that movement forward. Don't worry if it goes back a little bit, because the happy ever after is there within your grasp. So have a fantastic week. Really think carefully this week what direction you want to go in, send your family, friends, whatever it is, and then gently work on it and see where it leads. You could become Cinderella and gain that prince. Have a great week. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.